So, hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, I wanted to pop in and talk a little bit about the possibility of medical tourism traveling to Italy. Now, the reason I bring this up is because, as you know, I've recently had the opportunity to experience the Italian medical system from the inside out, all the way from emergency care, ambulance rides, terrifying over to Puglia, and, the hospital and the care in the hospital, and now physical therapy and that kind of thing. So I got a bit of experience on that. And I have to say that, okay, I'm just going to say it. The care I got here, way better than the care I got in the States. Sorry, it's true. And one of the reasons for that is this. I went in to see this one doctor who's actually very well-known doctor who treats the Italian, or who treated the Italian, one of the Italian soccer teams. And I show up in a wheelchair and they're like, "What are you doing in a wheelchair after 2 months?" They go, "You should have been here 20 days ago. I'm like, 20 days? Why? I didn't want anybody to touch my ankle 20 days ago. That's like right after the stitches and whatnot came out. He's like, no, we got to start right away because we get guys from crushed up, mangled ankles and surgery back on the field in 90 days. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can barely, walk up and down a hill without, freaking out about slipping again. And these guys are back on the field. So they're like, "Why are you in a wheelchair?" I said, "Well, I will tell you why I'm in a wheelchair. Because it's raining outside. Everything in this town is marble, stone, etc. And I will tell you, it gets really slick in the rain." So I was in a wheelchair, and he said, "Okay, hai ragione. I'm like, thank you. He gave me a pass. But it was clear to me that they were going to go very hard and fast on this ankle, and they did. I'm in therapy, physical therapy, every single day for 2 hours and 15 minutes a day, okay? The first hour is the great Ernesto working over my ankle, and he's doing the massage and the stretching. Now, it sounds pleasant. No, not even a little bit. Well, sometimes it's kind of pleasant, but mostly it's really painful. He's ribbing these things out on the scar. I'm like, "What are you doing? Ow, ow, ow." And he goes, "It's fibroids. Unfortunately, it's going to hurt." And boy, he wasn't kidding, because they do hurt, as you know, if you've gotten fibroids rubbed out, that they hurt when they're getting rubbed out a lot. My ankle's all puffed up and bruised afterwards. But I went from a wheelchair to walking on one crutch in a week. Only a week, going to physical therapy 2.25 hours a day. And that's not the end of it. Like, they're going, "Okay, well, how did you fall?" I go, "Well, I slid, blah, blah, blah." And they're like, "Yeah, that happens." And then when I started to kind of get better on the ankle, walking better with the ankle, they go, "Why are you still lurching around like the hunchback of Notre Dame?" They didn't say that. I'm saying that. I was lurching around like the hunchback of Notre Dame. And I go, "Well, that's how I am normally, like with this hip," right? I told them about the hip and everything, and they looked at my, my leg is all skinny, even up, where it shouldn't be skinny. And they're like, "Wow, that's a lot of atrophy." And I said, "Yeah." And they go, "Your prosthesis is at risk." And I'm like, "Oh no." And they said, "Why'd they leave you like this after your surgery for the hip? They didn't have therapy?" I said, "I did, but it didn't do anything permanent for sure." And, here I am walking with a cane and service dog and the whole 9 yards. And they go, "Well, that can be fixed." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And they're going, "No, that can be fixed." I'm like, "What?" And so they're getting started. And I'm telling you, they're going after the hip like crazy. I'm exhausted after physical therapy. I'm exhausted after doing the ankle stuff, which is really cute little exercises I do with Ernesto. He says, "Okay, open your toes, close them," and he puts his hand around them, so it makes it hard to do that. It's really funny. Cute exercises, but they're tiring when you haven't done anything with your toes or with your ankle or calf muscle, which is completely atrophied. I look like a stick figure on one side. It's horrible. Anyway, so when I get in the gym, they put me on all these hip things, the hip adductors. They got the leg thing that you hold your leg up, and there's weight on it. And then they got me on the back leg lift. And then they got me doing this, this one. And I mean, there's just every exercise they can think of. And then they stretch me in between, which is torture. But I'm doing so much better. Now, I didn't realize I was supposed to go home and put my foot up after each physical therapy appointment. So instead I was running around doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Ran up shopping, going out to lunch with the buddies and all that stuff. And he's like, you did what yesterday? And I went, well, I saw my friends and I went shopping. And he's like, well, you can't do that. You got to go home and put your foot up. So I was just going, okay, that's fine. I will do that. I promised I will stay at home with the foot up on Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, he promises me it's going to be a lot less painful, because the first week was pretty brutal, I'll be honest with you. But it brings me to a point. How many of you guys have gotten some sort of treatment and ended up with a less than stellar result? And I started thinking, medical tourism could be a thing. Like, I don't know how your treatment went, but mine could have been better. And when I come over here and I experience what I've experienced, I'm just like, well, it's way different. And I will tell you another thing. Back in California, when I was paying myself for physical therapy, because it wasn't covered on my insurance, other than, hey, you can get up and go to the bathroom, 3 visits from Kaiser or whatever. Oh, you can go to the bathroom and that's great. You're done. This is very different. And like I said, it's 2.25 hours a day of intense physical therapy and rehabilitation and stuff like that. In California, it'd be at least $160 a session for that. Well, it's nothing near that here. I don't know if I can go blurting out the cost, but it's less than $50 a session, which to me is like insane. Like my whole week of, every day was a little over $200. And that's without insurance. That's just you pay out of pocket. So knowing that, you might want to think about it. If you have a skeletal issue, a back problem, a neck problem, a butt hip problem that you haven't been able to get to a satisfactory situation, you might want to come over here for a few weeks, run yourself through the program. It's aggressive and it's tiring. And yes, I'll say it, it's painful, but I'll tell you something. I know I'm going to come out of it way better than when I went in. So give it some thought, guys. You can email me if you want the details on the doctor and the details on other things. And we'll just go from there and we'll just see, maybe you guys can come over here and be walking better or sitting better or sleeping better. Who knows? See you soon, guys.